Hello everyone. Hope you enjoyed my last story, which was The Princess and the Pea. And surprise, surprise, my next story is also about a princess. You can tell Mr. Palmer's got 4 daughters, can't you? They do like a good princess story. This story is great. It's one of my favourites. It's very, very clever because it uses a lot of elements of other fairy stories and adds them into this story. So see if you can notice some of the other fairy stories, or see if you can remind me what they are. Who are the authors of fairy stories? So famous ones: Hans Christian Andersen, he's very famous, and who are the Brother Grimms? Yeah, they're very famous as well. And so they did Little Red Riding Hood, Hansel and Gretel. Let's see if there's some others in this story as well. Okay, so this is called The Princess and the Pig. And the author is Jonathan Emmett. And the illustrator is Polly Bernatine. Yeah, brilliant pictures. Okay, here we go. Princess and the Pig. Not that long ago, in a kingdom not far from here, a farmer was travelling home from market with a cartload of straw. The farmer was so poor that he didn't have a horse and had to pull his own cart. In the back of the cart lay a tiny pink piglet. Can you see him in the back of the cart? Wow, that must be hard work. I bet he wished he had a horse to pull his cart. Nobody wanted to buy the piglet at market, but the farmer had taken pity on it. "I'll call you Pigmella," he decided, as this seemed like a good name for a pig. It was a hot day, and the farmer stopped to rest in the shade of a great castle. Far, far above him, on a high balcony, a queen was inspecting her new baby daughter. The queen was so rich that she had 7 nannies. So a nanny is someone who looks after children, and didn't have to look after her own child. The queen picked the baby out of her cot and held her at arm's length. "I'll call it Priscilla," she decided, as this seemed like a good name for a princess. So if you see in the picture, look, there's the farmer all the way down there, look, sitting on the bridge. A moment later, a wet, squelchy noise came from the baby's nappy, closely followed by an awful smell. "Yuck!" shrieked the queen, dropping the baby and running off to find the royal nannies. Oh no, look. Can you see she's dropped the baby? Oh, it's right on the edge of the battlements. She left so quickly that she didn't notice she had dropped the baby over the edge of the balcony. Oh no. Down, down, down went the baby into the farmer's cart. Up, up, up flew the piglet into the princess's cot. Can you see what's happened? The cart must have been right at the bottom of the tower, and when the baby fell, it landed in one side of the cart. And look, the cart's like a seesaw, and so the baby landed and shot the pig up into the air, and the pig's gone up, woo, poof, and landed into the cot. When the queen returned and found the piglet lying where the baby should have been, she let out an even louder shriek and fainted into the nanny's arms. Can you see her fainting? She's in a state of shock. The king thought he knew what had happened. "A bad fairy has done this," he explained. "The fairy wasn't invited to the princess's christening, so she turned the baby into a piglet to get her revenge. Oh, it's the sort of thing that happens all the while in fairy tale books." Do you know what fairy story that is? Where the princess is being christened and one of the fairies is not invited. Have a look at the book that he's holding. Yay, Sleeping Beauty. So the king thinks he knows what's happened because he knows the story of Sleeping Beauty. Meanwhile, the farmer had returned home and was startled to discover a baby girl lying where the piglet should have been. The farmer's wife thought she knew what had happened. "Oh, a good fairy has done this," she explained. "The fairy knew how poor and honest we are and how badly we want a child. So she's turned a piglet into a baby. It's the sort of thing that happens all the while in fairy story books." I wonder what one she's thinking of. Can you have a look? See in the book? Thumbelina. And so, without a second thought, the baby became Pigmella, the farmer's daughter, and there she is. And the piglet became Priscilla, the princess. Oh, look at her. That's brilliant. She doesn't look very happy, does she? It wasn't long before Pigmella was able to eat, walk, and dress all by herself, and the farmer and his wife soon forgot that she had ever been a pig. Let's see the look. There she is, eating, walking, and dressing herself. Wow, she's really growing well, isn't she? Things were not so easy for Priscilla. Uh-oh, look at her feeding herself. And, oh, she doesn't want to get dressed, does she? Look. And she doesn't want to walk on two legs either. And, oh no, look at that. Oh, she's escaped out of her clothes. But the king and queen never let anyone forget that she was really a princess. She's not though, is she? As Pigmella grew older, she grew clever and beautiful and was admired by everyone she met. And as Priscilla grew older, she grew not so clever and not so beautiful and was avoided by everyone she met. Oh no, look, they've tried to give her a book and she's eating it. And look at that, they're trying to put makeup on her. Nope, it's not going to work. And look at this one. Oh dear, dear me. Then one day, the farmer's wife overheard some of the castle servants talking about the princess who had turned into a pig. "Oh, it's just like what happened to Pigmella," she told her husband, "only the other way round." Oh, the farmer soon guessed what had happened. "Oh, the princess and the pig must have swapped places somehow," he explained. "It's the sort of thing that happens all the while in fairy story books." Oh, what one's he thinking of? Have you read that one? The Prince and the Pauper. Oh, it's where two people swap places. Oh, the poor farmer and his wife were very unhappy. They loved Pigmella, and they knew they must return her to her rightful home. Wow, they're very good people, aren't they? Oh, look how upset they are. All these years they thought she was their daughter, and now they've realised that she's somebody else's daughter. Pigmella was also unhappy. She loved the farmer and his wife and did not want to live with anyone else. But they were an honest family. So the next day they all went to the castle to see the king and the queen. They are wonderful, aren't they? Even with this hard, difficult thing to do, they're being honest, they're doing the right thing. The king and queen listened to the farmer's story. Can you see, look, they've gone right up to the king and the queen and they're listening. The king and queen are listening to what the farmer and his wife are saying. Look at Priscilla. Can you see her sitting on the throne? But they didn't believe it. What nonsense! Cried the queen. Ridiculous! Laughed the king. This girl may be clever and beautiful, but she does not look or speak like a proper princess. The queen thought she knew what was happening. Oh, it's a trick, she declared. This girl is just a farmer's daughter, pretending to be a princess in the hope that she might marry a prince. Oh, it's the sort of thing that happens all the while in fairy story books. Can you see the one that she's thinking about? Puss in Boots. Well, so Pigmella returned home with the farmer and his wife, where she married a young shepherd and lived happily ever after, and never once wished that she'd been a princess. Oh, look, she's so happy. It's lovely, isn't it? And Priscilla also got married to a handsome prince, although he had to be talked into it. Priscilla was changed into a pig by a bad fairy, the king explained. But once you kiss her, the spell will be broken and she will turn back into a beautiful princess, added the queen. It's the sort of things that happen all the while in books, they assured him. I wonder what story they're thinking about. Oh, the Frog Prince. Do you remember when the princess had to kiss the frog and he turned into a prince? Oh, that's in one of our RML books as well, isn't it? But unfortunately for the prince, it's not the sort of thing that happens in this particular fairy story book. Oh no, look, he's trying to kiss her, but she's not turned into a princess because she really is a pig. Clever, isn't it? That's a really funny story. I love the way it kept going. This sort of thing always happens in fairy story books. But then right at the end it says, it's not the sort of thing that happens in this particular fairy story book. That's great. And I love the drawings of the pig dressed up look as a princess. It's very funny. Did you hear what the king said when the farmer and his wife came and said that they realised that this girl was really the princess? And so the king made his judgment about whether the girl was a princess or not on whether she spoke or looked like a princess. Isn't that terrible? He judged her on how she looked and judged her on how she spoke. It's very, very sad. And because he was so foolish, he lost his daughter, didn't he? And the queen. I think she ended up with a very lovely Couple of parents, didn't she? Farmer and his wife were very special. I hope you enjoyed that story, The Princess and the Pig, by Jonathan Emmett, and the illustrator, Polly Bernatine. And don't forget to have a look at some of those other fairy stories. You'll be able to find them online. Let's just remind ourselves what they were. See if you can find out who the author was. Was it Hans Christian Andersen, or was it the Brothers Grimm? So the first one that they talked about was Sleeping Beauty. The second one was Thumbelina. The third one was The Prince and the Pauper. And the fourth one was Puss in Boots. So maybe see if... Oh, and I forgot about the last one. The Frog Prince. See if you can find those stories and remind yourself about them. Okay, take care. It's been lovely to read with you again. Hope you're reading lots of books yourselves. Make sure that you practice so that you don't forget how to read with expression and to read fluently. Okay, take care everyone. Bye.